All right, so this is where we give you an idea of big stories you should know about but aren't necessarily on your front pages. Today we're honing in on this. Women who live and work on farms have not been able to earn a living since the nationwide lockdown came into effect. Now, they've also not been able to get access to government's COVID-19 relief funding or the UIF. Now, these women have now approached Women on Farms for assistance. The organization is calling on the President and the Labour Minister to open labour centres. For more on this now, we're joined via our Skype line by the Labour Rights Programme Coordinator at Women on Farms Project, that's Roseline Engelbrecht. Roseline, thanks very much for your time and welcome to the AM Report. So, you know, women farmers are already considered what we say are seasonal workers, right? Which means that their employment has been unstable even without the pandemic. I imagine the global health crisis has really dealt a major blow, particularly to that community.
It has. I have to say that it really has. There are 4 particular challenges which they face, and it's not only the UIF benefits that hasn't been paid out to them. It's also food insecurity and infringing on their rights in terms of occupational health and safety. And then the 4th one is the draconian rule of some farmers, where workers who live on farms are prohibited to move off farm to go and work on other farms. But in terms of the UIF benefits, we've written a letter to the Department of Labour where we've asked that the labour centres be open, because we see it as an essential service at the moment, because many farm workers, they live in remote areas. They can't access, they don't even have a lot of money to go to labour centres, much less do they have access to online facilities like UIF or even data to apply online for the UIF benefits. So how is this now really helping farm workers? How is the department really looking after the needs of farm workers, the very same farm workers who provide food on our tables?
Right. So, Rosalie, let's take a step back. I mean, help us locate this if you can. Paint the picture for us and help us understand how farm workers are trying to make ends meet, given the challenges you've just outlined.
But currently, I have to say, most of the workers, or which constitute the majority of workers, currently is women seasonal farm workers. And, you know, they are the ones who have to provide food on the table. With the Department of Social Development, we have made a call to them to provide them with food parcels, and no food parcels has ever reached them. The workers are very dependent on the UIF benefits because they only work for 2 to 3 months, and after that they have no work. Then some of them would rely on the social grants. And in the case where you don't have a child or you don't have an older person that live with you that have access to grants, you have literally nothing, then you starve. That's literally how many of our women are living on the farms. They starve, or otherwise they have to go and ask for their neighbors for help, go and ask for food. In our organization, we have tried to help them to start their own food gardens in order to provide food for their families. So it's literally a daily struggle, a struggle just to get a plate of food on their tables.
And I imagine this makes women farmers particularly vulnerable to things like exploitation. Are you getting a sense that this has exposed them even further to that type of mistreatment?
There is, I have to say that women has been really, it has made them vulnerable to exploitation as well. You know, what happened is that when we approached the minister, he said to us, you know, while in the Durans, for instance, there's 8,000 seasonal workers who haven't had any access to the UIF benefits. And when we approached the minister, and we've written the official letter to him, he'd say, or his solution to the problem was, have the boxes at the UIF centers and people can put their UIF application forms in there, and then the officials will come and fetch it. But these boxes are literally next to the street. The building is next to the street. Anyone can come and can have access to your information. They can use your information. It's information, bank details, and ID numbers of people that's on there. And nobody has ever come and fetch these forms. So how is that helping our workers?
Right. And I imagine this is not anything new, especially because it appears that it's happening so evidently, at least on the part of the state. Very, very quickly, what are some of the immediate interventions that can sort of be put in place, really, to try and at least stave off or mitigate the blow from COVID-19, particularly on women farmers?
What we have called for as an organization is for the labor centers either to be open with all the safety precautions, or they can send out mobile services onto the farms, especially in those remote areas where workers are not able to access the services. It's very easy just to get a few officials on a bus and go and process these UIF applications, or otherwise, like with the COVID-19, when it broke out, there's a data-free system that they've used to get information to workers. Why not use the same system so that workers are able to process their applications online?
Right. You know, it's COVID-19. Right. COVID-19 is surely exposing once again the many cracks in our society. Certainly appreciate your time and your insights. Roseline Engelbrecht is with Women on Farms Project, and she's the Labor Rights Program Coordinator there, helping us understand the plight of women farmers during the pandemic.